like not caring.
Okay, and which is worse? BB, right?
Yeah, but by the way, what you do on the same psychological aspect is that you elevate the spirits of the enemy. So what's worse?
Ellie.
But the spirits of the enemy is not a huge factor for you actually. Because like the enemy can glee and they think that they're winning because they have those traitors inside their camp and blah blah blah, and they can be overconfident and that will just hurt them in the long run. But when you lose the kind of tacit support or respect of
who's more credible, me or BB when we criticize Hamas or violent resistance or
I'm not after credibility.
The person who tells the truth or the person who spouts propaganda?
I'm not for credibility. I'm for being successful on the schoolyard.
It's not. You don't think it's successful? When I brought my Palestinian friend on and talked to other Palestinians, they agree with her that Hamas failed the people.
So what did it change?
Saying we want to bring moderate voices. This place is so polarized. It's good to have moderate voices to remind us that the vast majority of people are somewhere in the middle. This place is not reality. It's not real life.
We are in the place as a consensus for anything. This is not statistically valid. It represents a group of self-selected people who come onto the app. It doesn't represent a cross-section of anything. So,
but it doesn't. Like, it's so polarized. Both sides are represented as these caricatures of themselves, and I don't think it's accurate of the human sample size. You know, a real
right,
human.
But you just said before that there's a consensus that one was better than another. No, you can't draw a consensus from one person's opinion or even a couple people in Clubhouse's opinion. This is not statistically valid in any such.
And the truth is, Ellie, I would argue we're not trying to change. You agree that we're not really changing anyone's minds anyway.
Yes, you're doing like mental masturbation and.
For me, personally.
Yeah, but no, for me as well. Like I'm guilty.
You're not expecting to change anyone's minds, right? So why am I a threat to the Jewish people, like these people partisan?
Because it's very uncomfortable. People in your camp undermining your positions. It's very.
Don't you think it makes Jews look good that some of us are moderates and all of us are fucking right-wing lunatics?
No, because I'm not convincing anyone that needs to be convinced.
I mean, I think it reflects that not all of us are fascistic, BB, Kahanist Christians. I think that's healthy. It's healthy to represent the spectrum of opinion in our community.
None of those people are persuadable. Buttercup.
I'm not trying to convince. I'm just trying to represent a full cross-section of our community, not just the crazy radicals.
I mean, it doesn't help. It does make Jews look bad.
To have moderates among us?
Yeah. You're not a moderate, Buttercup.
What am I, Jason?
You're a left-wing extremist.
Okay,
absolutely. You just don't want to hear the cold hard truth. But...
Okay. Thanks. Daniel, you want to speak? Do you have anything to say? Othello, what do you think? Am I a left-wing extremist?
You're asking somebody who hates Jews.
No, he doesn't.
I do think I throw around that word honest a little bit too much.
I say it tongue-in-cheek, and I've said over and over again.
Because
I know that you and BB, we call it... Almost started it. Almost says you guys are Kahanis, they're Nukhba, the lefties.
Just because he started it doesn't mean you need to pile on.
What? I think it's funny. It's funny on the fun.
It's a known fact that people like BB, Rabbi, Harry, make Jews look so bad. They've been doing it for the past 3, 4, 5 years, and they don't give a fuck, right? I think Buttercup, when I see someone like you come on the app, I have hope for humanity, and I have hope because I know that there's a lot of Jews like you, like to treat Jews as a monolith, like almost as well. You guys are a bridge to the rest of the world, so that we can have healthy dialogue and not push weird ass white supremacist, right-wing Jewish supremacist ideologies. And I appreciate you, Butter.
Thank you.
Really beautiful. You said thank you. But maybe you want to address it, Buttercup. So you think that the Jews that think differently than Buttercup and sometimes almost what did you say? Supremacist, white. What can you say this again?
White supremacist. White supremacist.
Charlie Kirk is a
Pepe is the catch-all for everything.
Rabbi's rooms, right?
Oh,
They say the N-word 50 times a room, and you guys are laughing in there. Oh, you N-word. Oh, you N-word. You know Rabbi? You know Rabbi?
Hey, Frank, this is a Clubhouse live stream.
Rabbi.
Which
This
Rabbi?
is put on by a young girl named Buttercup. She's a journalist and extreme left-wing
Oh, she's
liberal
not Jewish.
lunatic.
She's an anti-Semite. No, count my shekels is an anti-Semitic trope. He's not Jewish.
He's a Jew hater that is basically cosplaying as a Jew.
Jews don't say count my shekels. That's an anti-Semitic stereotype.
Spread Jews, they hate about Jews, and you fell for it, dude.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine. You guys still mod rooms with Pepe.
So
Everything, Pepe!
So your claim that that we are nationalists, like white
so
supremacists,
funny.
is because of a Pepe and another.
you guys do flirt with them. You flirt with it.
No, you guys, you and
Daniel, the room does like to flirt with white supremacists.
And Bobby got me threw right over her head. She was like, I'm fine with like, I'm
Yeah, you guys gotta hear this. They're talking about you guys. This is hilarious.
Like the rest of the 99% like white supremacists, whatever you call it. That's fine. For me, it seems that the sort of information is on Jew-hater and Pepe. None of them are Jewish.
No, Daniel, it is a problem that your room flirts with Jew haters.
He's you're flirting with terrorists.
No, I'm not. No one's a terrorist on this app. They're all American. Who's a terrorist? What are you talking about?
And we're flirting with who? Excuse me?
So the people that you champion, not you personally, but people in your room lionize, and your country.
So he's
Your country lionizes people like Charlie Kirk, who I believe is a white supremacist.
yeah, Issa,
So you people is who exactly?
Issa, Mister. You know when you're in those rooms with Issa and Mister, and you guys are just calling each other.
Who's
with
Mister?
Yeah, you know who Mister is.
I don't know who that is.
You know Mr. Anderson?
Yes, yes.
He's another. He's literally like he would support Hitler. He would take a gun and shoot Jews himself.
Okay, and you sit around with him.
Those are your examples of why you hate Jews because of Jew haters.
You sit in rooms with
Wow,
him.
man.
Listen,
I have nothing here. I have nothing. I mean, dude.
We're not arguments to people. I just want you to make commercials.
You don't need a commercial break every 10 minutes, almost.
Yeah, exactly. Every 10 minutes you have to stop and, it's an argument between Othello and
Alright, this has been No One Cares. Q, Frank, and your credit hero.
days from now. They like to talk, they talk.
Everyone, go to Amos's room. He's waiting for you with tea and coffee.
And there is a cake, don't forget. Cake also.
Uga.
And I hope you are the first my guest in my room. I hope.
keep doing your thing, Buttercup. Don't let these guys gaslight you. Keep doing your
Listen,
thing.
Daniel, I like talking to you because you're reasonable, but like a lot of the folks who share a room with, they're a little like fanatical and blind and reflexively just Israel. They fetishize Israel and it doesn't no one finds it convincing. It's not coherent. It doesn't make sense. You're a rational person. Doesn't it bother you that they do this?
No, it bothers me that you are taking one or two people and you're trying to use this as a wide brush. Doesn't matter. And and when I would say this, if I would say the same to you, I say, okay, so if you are basically hanging out and chilling with people that will basically slaughter your family and are supporting Hamas, literally, not just like by innuendos, like supporting and resistance.
Oh my God, look who it is now. You're still alive. There must be a God. Praise God, you're alive, Donald. Praise God, you're alive, Donald. I thought fentanyl got you, brother.
Yeah, but I can
I thought fentanyl got you, Donald. Praise God, there must be a God if you're still alive, Donald. Oh, we're so lucky you're with us. God must be real. Donald, there must be a God. You're proof, Donald. You're proof. Let me proof. Donald, that there is a God. Praise the great and glorious God. For Donald's still alive. I thought you were dead, Donald. I thought you weren't with us anymore, brother. But praise God, it's another miracle. From Charlie Donald, you're live. You're live, dear Donald, my friend. You are alive, Donald. You're alive. Okay, Donald, I am complete. Thank you, Donald.
And tell me, give me one name of one space that I created that you have a problem that one something like it or something.
The spaces with East right? No, I would have problem with my spaces with East That is not me. That harbors Islamophobic and anti-black sentiments while you guys sit around.
You're talking about the level, not mine. This is a view that you are creating.
It doesn't matter.
I just joined the house, Donald. Thank you so much for creating this room. I'd like to try to convince you that God exists. If I may have a couple of 60 seconds of your time.
Alright, Othello, in fairness.
Okay, just listen. This is another clubhouse room. Ocean is a homosexual bookseller, and I was talking about how he wants to get his ass rammed.
I would never mod with this fucking Mr. Robinson. He's a vermin, okay? So don't give me this shit.
So he disavowed his views, Othello. Let's move on from this, okay?
Okay.
I don't disavow, like, I don't, he's not even a human, like, I don't know what to talk about. You painting a brush on me because of people that are in a room with, it's disgusting. It's making me,
I have to say, Othello, I
if you have a problem with people, if you have a big problem with people, take it with them. But to exploit them in order to spread hate about Jews, I had enough of it. And I'm here, and you keep on saying, you guys.
This is my last statement.
So maybe don't make it.
I don't want to see you guys, the Jewish people on this app, mod rooms and celebrate people like Kate, right? Who said 2 days ago, who asked Buttercup if she was hot enough to be raped on October 7th.
So, you know what? I would ask you guys, because I see a lot of
Oh,
black rooms,
God.
I would ask you guys to stop creating rooms against Jews. And I hear a lot of like you guys, and I would not say, I don't know if you're an Islamist or Muslim, I would ask you guys to also stop having rooms constantly all over Clubhouse, like spam about Jews. Just, do a routine of like searching for the Israeli flag once in a while and see how many rooms are in Arabic obsessing about Israel, okay?
What do you think about
The
this
day
room?
that Charlie Kirk died, there were like 4 rooms at the same time saying Israel did it, or Jews did it. At the same time.
I don't join
And also, you guys need to stop this before you come to us and say anything. So we can both play to you guys. We can both play to you guys.
Now listen, I don't join any rooms about Jews. I join rooms about specific people in certain
Mix that, I'm bringing you up because I want a different voice, but don't yell,
From
okay?
the river to the sea.
Mix that, don't yell, talk quietly. You want to say something?
Why'd you get rid of the other guy?
I didn't get rid of anyone. He got rid of himself. Mix that, do you want to say something?
Goodness. Yeah, Buttercup. Like, I have my own opinion about how you situate yourself in, let's say, Clubhouse. I don't think that you're taking like a particularly well thought out position. So much as you're taking a position you feel provokes a different type of dialogue.
Okay. And do you think that's a net gain or net loss for the image of Jews in Israel in general?
Well, there's like a funny kind of a sports non sequitur that you can throw into anything, which is basically, well, let's see if it works out for him, right? I don't know. Maybe your approach is good for the Jewish people. My general sense is no. Most Jews seem to agree with me, but like, I don't know. Let's see if it works out.
disagree, and it's really suspicious for anyone to claim they don't have an agenda. But regardless,
I don't believe I can change people's minds unless you're full of steam and get some,
that's irrelevant. Your desire to change those minds is irrelevant. What I'm saying is, my disdain for your position has nothing to do with the way you're feeling out, the way you want to talk. My problem is that it's stupid and dangerous, and that's how most people seem to be reacting to it.
Okay. Thanks for sharing.
Sure.
The roast of Buttercup.
I don't know, Daniel, do you find sort of this, I don't know if you hear this, I think there's a difference between the way Israelis talk about defend Israel and the way Americans defend Israel. Don't you think there's something a little crude and imbecilic about the way these sort of pro-Israel, rah-rah-rah cheerleaders from America, the way we speak about Israel is
Okay,
like,
this is the roast of
best things is
Buttercup.
sliced bread,
Where
we
Mixed
can go
so
wrong, they're the most
very,
moral army
very
in the world. There's
delicately
standards
told her
they're
that
setting,
she's
they're
stupid and
inevitably fail.
dangerous.
And they're not realistic.
Oh my God, this is the roast of Buttercup. This is a Buttercup struggle session therapy room. Thanks for being here and good shot.
Talking about wrong, so I don't think you can confuse me. I been on the app and I've spoken to many Jewish Americans that are actually for Israel. Never ever, to be honest, and I'm completely honest, never ever heard anyone, not on the app, but also like on Twitter or like on social media, Israel didn't do no wrong. Never heard it. I'm completely honest. I heard you say it a few times actually.
I always heard you're being like, even the dogs in Israel are amazing, the service is perfect, the trees are greener. You never hear me like wax poetic on
Buttercup is exaggerating.
Literally,
Norm has said
I'm
something along the lines of what Buttercup said earlier, that Israel is the most moral army in the world. Never has an army had fewer casualties in XYZ situation. Some of these things are demonstrably untrue, and some of them are, the most moral army in the world. Okay, is it demonstrably untrue? No, but it's not demonstrably true. It's kind of an exaggeration. Buttercup is right. Buttercup is right. This rings hollow to a lot of people, and it's not a good form of evidence.
And also, what else made it Norm did say, one second.
I'm in the middle of answering your question.
Let me finish. Norm did say he went into a shelter and none of the dogs barked, because even the dogs in Israel are amazing and so polite and perfect. He did say that, I swear.
So, talking about calling the Israel the most moral army in the world, or talking about the casualty numbers, is not the same as Israel is doing no wrong. With one I can actually debate, and with the other I cannot, or I cannot defend it, so I don't agree with. And with one we can kind of, I don't compare it to, I like to be honest, like in Berlin we don't have dogs, in New York, actually no. Like, in the streets, like at home, yes.
When you're bombing, do the dogs bark? Do they get stressed out like every other dog? Or are they special?
They don't get stressed out. Like the two dogs that I've been doing alarms, like very, I guess they learn, they may be on the first time, but it's not like every time they see how their family behaves and they see that everything is in order. It's like, when we hear the ring, that the family goes to this room. So no, they don't. They're not panicked because I guess it depends on the family, If the family is starting to shout, and I don't think it's happening anymore, because it's kind of became, Pavlovic response. It started with dogs, and this is exactly what a siren is, So, yes, but I don't think it's because if you're gonna look into it, you could understand things. And also, we talk about the moral army in the world. We can just talk about it, but just like to dismiss it is basically like what you are basically blaming him. You're basically blaming for him even saying it is so ridiculous, and you're just dismissing it. I could see as just as ridiculous. Yes, at least you can have a conversation. But in any case, none of them, you just mentioned normal, but she actually said that Jews are having this idea or this emotion or this notion of this. They say it that Israel cannot do wrong, and this sentiment I did not personally feel with all my discussion with many American Jews. This is my point. That's it. So if you exaggerated. I think that
This is what I hear, and you hear something else, so we have very different takeaway from these rooms.
yes, but what you hear is not what they're saying. And when you present to me and you want to have a debate,
I present an internal dialogue that's happening in the Jewish community,
so
and they
in
call
my
me a
world,
combo.
in
That's
my
shutting down.
world, in my world, you know, I'm not having a discussion about your world, okay? If you're saying that this is
Talking
what
about your
they
rooms.
said,
I go into your rooms and I present
You're missing the
normal
point.
things that
You're
are
missing the
happening in
point.
the Jewish
You're missing the point.
discourse,
He
and they call me a
literally
combo.
said it. He literally
You're
said
missing
it.
the point.
He literally said it. And
Well, I mean,
Buttercup dismissing it.
if I cannot, no, but you said he didn't say it.
He
actually said
Israel has the most moral army in the world, okay? And this is the kind of thing, Buttercup's not dismissing it. She's saying it's bad
No, you're
advocacy.
dismissing it.
I'm not dismissing it either. I'm saying it's
She-
bad advocacy.
She
I'm
did
saying
not
it
say
rings
this.
hollow. She didn't even say that, yes.
I'm having a discussion with like a two-head monster. She's saying cannot do no wrong.
Well, I'm
And
talking
you're
about
answering
my
with me
world.
about
This is
but you're talking
America's
about-
world.
But this is a different argument.
And I'm saying it rings hollow.
Man,
It's bad advocacy.
Jason, can you wait? I cannot have two conversations at the same time. When I'm answering Buttercup, you are answering me about a different conversation. With Buttercup, the conversation is about Israel cannot do wrong. And you're answering me as if I'm answering the most moral army in the world. You need to choose, like, what are we talking about? Her claim is not your claim. It's not the same conversation.
She made arrangement for
So
it.
anyway, she didn't say any of it.
All right,
She
let's get
said
to substance. Move on.
it's really hard because
You feel so you're good at
I'm trying to tell you.
multitasking. Try to talk to both of us.
Come on. You asked a
It's not a
question.
chaotic
I
room. There's like two
asked a
people in
question
here.
because-
Just respond to me and that's
No,
it.
it is
Okay.
chaotic.
Start with
Because
me.
there was a question at the beginning and I already forgot it. Like, you know,
Whether or not Israel can do no wrong, or whether or not Israel has.
No. I think when I said I'll repeat it. I think
this I remember.
in your room. No, in your rooms, I try to present
What is my
arguments. No, in
Rooms
the
that I'm
rooms. In the rooms
This is
that
my
you.
room right now.
No, in you.
No,
I
okay.
associate you with Bibi Kapara and Harry and Norm and all those
Okay,
folks. You're all flipping back
in
them up.
your world, I understand. I always need to understand it. We're not talking about reality.
People
We're
who
talking
We're
about
talking about Clubhouse and the affected dialogue, right? Where I walk into the Bibi Kapara houses, which you're obviously in this corner most of the time, pretty much all the time.
I need to stop you. I need to stop you, okay? There is one Jewish room usually, okay? We used to have back then, it was with the mayor at Make It Well Straight Again. It's no longer there. There was the times that there was like a Jeff, like it's not like you're there, okay? This is what we have, okay? This is what we have. One. And you see also that many times when you open a room, a lot of people shift to you. They're not like, we're not like, it's like it's Clubhouse. It's not like in many rooms, like two rooms, maybe one. Come on, stop making a big story out of nothing.
The Jewish room is clothing optional
Things they say,
copy.
Danielle.
That's what the Jewish room is, clothing optional copy.
Okay.
This is another one. This is more like a casual, kind of like a more friendly. This is basically like this is more like friendly group, okay? So people that are friends, they're hanging out as friends. Yes, this is clothing optional.
Not just.
Danielle, I really.
Because in all your life, all right?
Jews and
Jews.
God, you guys, it's like Nuremberg trials up here.
Listen, Danielle.
following orders is no good.
Exaggerating in order to kind of make like weird claims.
No, Danielle. I came out here to have a dialogue with my people. Okay. I know you think I'm interested in just engaging with Amir's room. I came here specifically because I want to talk to my people. I don't get to talk to a lot of Jews about this. It's not a topic I can talk about in polite company where I live, so I really enjoy it, and that's why I talk to you guys. But I get so much abuse there that I don't get in the other room. And I'm not saying that you represent all their views, but I'm just saying.
But you know that you're.
But all I'm doing is representing views that you know Israelis have too. You know? I'm not extreme.
Listen, but you're on an audio app, okay? And people are using their voices, and you know that you say things in order sometimes to provoke. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, did you get the attention? Okay, you came to Clubhouse, I don't know, like a month ago. You're getting attention. You're opening room. You have confidence. Like, and yes, and you're the victim. But yes, the victim is the car. Then you see, I don't know how many people are here right now. I mean, come on. How much is this?
You want to talk to your Devin in the chat says he wants to be brought up, and he kind of implying that you don't bring him up. So
Because he's annoying, but I'll bring him up if you're really
he's
nice.
annoying. Like,
He's a little annoying.
Devin, no, he's not.
All right, Devin, you want to come up? Where's Devin? All right, come on up, but just make your points.
And just so you know, I'm muting with my headphone because every time something is in the app, every time that I mute on the app, it kind of silence it for like 5 seconds.
Okay.
Daniel, is your PTR making fun of Buttercup?
Yeah, like, listen, I don't mind that you guys.
It's not making fun. It's maybe like, you know what she say, like, how it is in her mind? So, in my mind, she's using the David shield.
There's one of me going on with Hitler. I'd rather Daniel's than the Hitler one.
It's more like a representation. It's more like a little caricature to represent like a story. I mean,
How I see myself.
Oh, I mean, that would make for a really great story. Like if you imagined a tiny little cartoon girl.
I think it's random.
No. Slow down. I'll get back
So I can't tell if I'm leading an army of Hamas next or if I'm fighting an army of Hamas next.
You're leading them. You're obviously leading them. They're in front of you.
No. She's not leading them. This is a shield.
Yeah.
She's defending them.
She's defending them exactly.
Running the Jewish people.
She's using come on.
This is high art, Daniel. It's high art.
She's using Judaism as a shield. Okay, she's putting herself as a shield.
Okay, fine. Go down.
Buttercup defending Hamas. Is this real, Daniel?
Yeah, she's defending Hamas.
She's a lover fighter.
She's a defender. She's a defender of
There's like a sea now of parodies. I gotta say, like imitation's the best form of flattery. So
And you're average, right?
of course, it's very bad. I'm becoming a narcissist because of you guys.
Press is better than no press.
Well, yeah, you're not handling the technology of the app very well.
Part of it is that you didn't use that your own face, so it made it kind of more like I wouldn't do it probably if it was your face, like your real face.
No, I don't mind it. I think it's cute.
You're building a
I think
character.
yours is my favorite, Danielle. Yours is my favorite.
Daniel, that's very artistic.
You're very prickly.
Thank you.
Was that
Daniel's art is also layered. You know, there's interpretation.
you're good? Wow, I didn't know you
No, come on, I did the like, come, no, that's not AI.
No, I don't know. You're an artist in hiding.
AI.
But how did you
Like, you know, just so you know, like,
air right in the band? Like,
I'm just gonna tell you like a hack, okay? Okay. You cannot tell him to put like a Hamas headband, okay?
right.
I have to tell him a story that she's defending them and they're wearing a green headband with like the color of her eyes and to put like a bit like of white Arabic gibberish on them.
You got it. Yeah, that way.
Did you upload your camera? Like, how did you get that face?
I'll tell you, the effort you put into the AI generation of image really shines through.
Exactly. You see my reference.
I'm gonna try to do it because I asked ChatGPT to generate an image of Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls with a sort of David Shield with an IDF behind him.
Right.
He said I can't help doing that.
No, he would have to have a sword. He'd have to have a sword to complete the narrative.
I'm gonna try to create a narrative and get that image.
Yeah, she's a
Like, he can throw like a Jewish star, like a
Roll.
A 6-pointed star.
Exactly.
No, because it wasn't like anything bad. She's like, she's defending them. She's a superhero. She has a shield, you know.
This narrative totally works, and it'll explain the whole conflict.
Okay, I want to hear from Beatrice because Beatrice is from Amir's room. I know her from there.
What about
And
Devin? You brought him up first.
I know I'll hear it from Devin after, but Beatrice,
And the other is working on the project.
I'm gonna just Beatrice.
I know
The
you
premise
are.
here is that me having this like nuanced view where I'm critical of Israel, but I also have deep affection for my Jewish people. They're saying it's bad for the overall it's worse for the Jewish people than what the propagandists and Bibi Kaparas are do, where they just lie and deny and sugarcoat and fetishize Israel all day. So I'm curious, as an outsider who spends all the time in Amir's room, do you feel like what I'm doing is how does it shape the way you see Jewish people, Israel, the Jewish state, Beatrix? I'm curious of your view.
So, I think you remember Buttercup. They were kind of like attacking you and calling you a Zionist, and I stood up for you and said, like, look, she might not understand certain things about Islam. I don't get to really clarify my views a lot either. Like, the thing is, you don't even have to like Muslims, Buttercup. Like, you don't even have to really even like the Palestinians. You know,
I do. I have no problem.
I'm not saying you don't. I'm not saying you don't. But I'm saying the way that they were kind of attacking you, because I told them, I was like, look, she was raised Jewish. She's not raised a Muslim. Why are you guys expecting her to know anything about Islam? When I was growing up, I didn't know anything about Islam. You know, like it's not really relevant to what we're talking about. And I know that you're older than me. You have a lot more experience than I do. You have a lot more knowledge than I do. You really don't need me to defend you. But the reason why I did is because, first off, you have a stronger voice than I do because you are Jewish, and you can, because, like, look, my parents are Zionists. My parents are never going to listen to me because they don't see me as one of them. But the thing is, I don't want to see radicalism on either side. I don't like when people talk crap about Jews and say they're evil and they're this and they're that. And it's actually frustrating getting called anti-Semitic because I do like Jewish people and I don't want Jewish people to be attacked. I don't want anybody to go on a subway and attack a Jewish woman and her kids or a man, or, you know what I'm saying? I've never felt that way about Jewish people, and I don't want to see them attacked, and I don't want to see them ostracized. And so I don't want radicalism on either side. And I think that's something that's really important about you, because it almost seems like you get attacked from both sides, and it's kind of just like, well, you should be able to speak freely without being ostracized, because it's
just for having a nuanced view.
It's way more dangerous, and it's not like we agree on everything.
And who's more credible? Like, who sounds more credible, me or Bibi Kapara, who's just like, wow, they invented cherry tomatoes and they have the most in the world.
Is, also, and you're using the word nuance, which I find very interesting. Nuance is actually
point of view. It's not correct.
Yeah, exactly. Not nuance also. Nuance is more like actually it's the opposite of nuance a bit.
I'm critical of Israeli leadership and Palestinian leadership. I think both of them failed their people. What do you mean? That's nuanced. That's right in the middle.
I think that you are coming with a specific agenda that is not about.
I think both people deserve better leadership. How is that attacking anyone? I'm defending both people.
But it's not nuanced, okay? It's just your view. All right, nuanced is a word that should be. It should be illegal.
I think you are more credible because, given your position, you're not biased. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't have a bias. You're bringing into consideration perspectives from both sides, so you will always be more credible.
I'm also coming from a humanist perspective instead of a tribal perspective, which other people tend to come from.
Why Monica thinks that she has a superior point of view. Even listening, both sides, I don't know, she was myself.
Everyone. I'm for the people against governments. Any power. Power needs to be able to account to them.
This is not what's different. None of this is not really differentiate us from you from us, okay? I think actually we can even argue the opposite. This is not the thing
It's the thing you guess.
but we agree with you. I mean,
Daniel, you agree with me. That's not what Bibi Kapara thinks.
no.
You
No,
agree.
I never had a discussion about it. But also, our corrupt is also not a nuanced point of view. And I don't think it's such a unique. And also,
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't
people
be.
should not.
You
People should
people have argued
also,
against attitudes.
children and like innocent civilians should die is also like not nuanced and
Thank you.
not so unique to you.
Same
And not so
here.
unique to you.
Thank you.
You know, we all agree to
So we're
this.
calling me a radical.
Because this is not your point of view. This is not exactly. This is not what differentiates you.
You're not presenting things people consider radical about your views right now.
This is not what is radical.
And more importantly, I think everyone's opinion is unique. I guess an opinion is not fact, but
Mine isn't.
yeah, I know exactly. But to say that it almost comes across as you're superior to Bibi, and the reality is no, you're not.
No, it's not. Yaakov, he claims I'm bad for, I'm a threat to the Jewish people and their
And
safety.
you're saying he's worse. Like literally, you're
Right, so that's what the showdown is. It's worse.
So what if you guys are both wrong about that?
Amos and
Not
Ellie
that big
thinks
a
that
deal.
he's
I
worse.
agree. We're both wrong.
And Bibi is definitely
But I receive a lot more abuse than BB. I'm abused constantly on this app.
okay.
I'm threatened by one of Israel. They threaten to dox me. They threaten to
Maybe they don't like you.
drown me.
Why don't you zoom out and think about Israel as part of a system, an American system of how the world works, and ask yourself what's good for America, Buttercup.
Right.
Ask yourself.
So, Jason, I assume you think that Israel's good for America overall.
Israel is good for America, yeah. And I hope someday Saudi Arabia and Egypt will be good for America too, and Qatar with Israel's help.
So I think America has certain laws about how its bombs are used, and I think Israel has violated those standards over and over and over again. And we have an obligation to do something about it because that's what our laws dictate, right? We have
All right,
to
so
publish
let's
those
do
standards.
that. What does that have to do? Whoa! So what does that have to do with
No, they use the usage of 3,000
Right,
pound
so
bombs
what?
in densely populated area is a violation of our
I
standards.
agree. Wonderful. So what? Therefore what?
But you agreed, Yaakov, so as Americans,
I'm agreeing with you. Therefore
No,
what?
it's gross. The Leahy laws refer to gross violations of human rights.
dropping a 3,000 pound bomb in a densely populated area is a gross violation of human rights.
The maximum is
There was no military justification for it.
Well, how do you know?
Okay.
You're
Okay.
gonna
Wait.
do it,
How do you know?
Yeah.
3,000 pound bombs wipe out a whole block, populated
Okay.
block.
Wonderful.
Maybe that,
Hey.
maybe those are military
They
necessity.
used a bomb and they broke a regulation. That's what you're saying? They used a bomb, we sold them,
They
and they
constantly
didn't
break
use.
regulations with their bombs.
Okay,
And that's
fine,
not
fine. They
us.
constantly. That's wonderful. They
It's my
constantly
town
break
style.
regulations.
Of course I should care.
That feels like a problem that we Americans should leverage in diplomatic channels. No.
Yes. And we're trying.
So what does that have to do
But
with
whenever
whether or
it
not?
happens, the Israelis
Whoa!
and
Hey! Slow down. What does that have to do with the question we were discussing? Is Israel good for America?
Israel's not good for America if it's
Why
used
not?
for bombs to commit war crimes.
Who cares? We'll just leverage that in diplomacy, as you just said.
Well, no.
You would prefer a greater Syria, perhaps? A larger Egypt? Perhaps Jordan? Is that who we should interact with?
Buttercup, one thing they're asking you to do is consider the alternative. The alternative isn't Israel. The choices are not Israel is perfectly nice or Israel does bad things. The alternatives include things like Israel loses and the other forces in that region are more powerful and they're worse for America than Israel, okay? But I also think that's a very big if. Israel is using American weaponry to commit war crimes. The standard that people use when they ascribe war crimes to Israel is very loose and imperfect. And there are a lot of details there. And I don't think what you've said,
Jason, you think Israel has committed no war crimes? Is that what you're
what
suggesting?
you've described in this case does not add up to a war crime. Okay, using a heavy bomb to destroy a building is not illegal.
No, numerous dumb bombs.
Using numerous heavy bombs to destroy a building is not
They
illegal.
dropped more bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's
Yes,
not a
but
small.
The Israelis.
It's not a densely populated area of mostly kids.
Hold on. There are real facts to talk about here. Buttercup, how many people died when that bomb was dropped?
I don't remember. I don't know.
It's like 100,000 people, okay? So this is kind of a clue that what Israel is doing is a lot more surgical and precise and measured than carpet bombing.
That was
See,
one
you're
bomb.
committed to withholding bombs.
Than destroying than destroying city. Well, firebombings also
Okay,
killed hundreds
Jason.
of thousands of people.
Jason, it seems like you've been following the conflict a long time. As you know, whenever there's a war, Israel tends, as a matter of policy, they tend to react emotionally to every provocation, and it overreact. And so the only thing that restrains them at the end, the only thing that curtains the war at the end, is pressure from Western powers, right? Historically, it's always been America that restrains Israel. And they say no more, and they say use restraints, otherwise Israel doesn't use restraints, right? And so really, without an American government that restrains Israel, things are going to be excessive. I think they're gonna provide a huge liability for both America and for Israel, because we don't have the normal checks and balances, which is the U.S. in this era saying time to use restraint, time to wrap things up, time to stop. And so this is the biggest danger for both our country and their country.
No, Buttercup. I would say that the biggest danger is America telling Israel to stop.
Israel has always told Israel to stop. Every war is stopped because America is in its ear.
Stop doing it. America needs to stop doing it.
America needs to use its leverage to control and out of
I'm
control.
going to explain why, Buttercup, and you need to listen to why. Okay? Because if you don't actually defeat the enemies, there is not peace.
The Israeli military establishment thinks the enemy's been defeated. They've accomplished everything they can accomplish, and they're just killing more of their own soldiers now.
It makes no sense for, ending or winning wars is not a decision.
Numerous top Israeli generals disagree with you, Jason.
It does not matter. That is not a decision that they get to make in any country, because they are subject to civilian authority, and military activity is an extension of political activity by other means. Okay, that's the Constantinian rule. And in America also, they didn't want to drop the atomic bomb. In America, we didn't want to go for total victory in the Second World War. That was a political direction and requirement. And the reason generals don't make those decisions is because ultimately these things have to be decided on what's good for the country by civilian authorities, not by military authorities who are kind of technician. Okay, so they are allowed to have their own opinion. That doesn't make it right, and you can't quote it like it's the correct one. And the civilian authorities is the wrong one. There's a reason that the civilian authorities are the leaders, and military authorities are not. And that's why I think that we have made a big mistake preventing Israel to pursue these conflicts. Is there something wrong with this? And actually achieve victory over their enemies, total victory.
Propaganda is our channel. Please don't get away.
I want to address something you said about civilians. Civilians in Israel feel that the current government is not representing them, and that the current leadership is deeply compromised by factions in its government that are really exploiting them. Only the vast majority, according to studies. Randy, I want to conservative actually.
This decision in times of war. And in times of war, yes, you have this great, I guess you could say, restriction or narrowing of people's freedom and autonomy or their ability to influence outcomes for the country. But that's true in every country, and it's because war is extremely dangerous. And what I disagree with you fundamentally about, Buttercup, is that the U.S. should not be telling Israel to knock off their war and not achieve total victory. And we have done it over and over again.
So total victory is a vague, not quantifiable goal, and the purpose of it is to be a foil for Netanyahu so that he can continue the war for his own political interests.
No, it is not. It is not.
That's what Israeli people think. It's not me, Jason. You should talk to some Israelis. That's what they're talking about.
I'm talking about something that was
It's the removal of Hamas. That is not
Hamas is already
It's not removed.
It is very
He's not,
simple.
they're still
What
fighting.
total
Offer
victory
to
is.
step down. That's the same thing.
It's very
They've already
simple.
offered to step down.
On their terms. On their
Guys,
terms. No, you're misrepresenting
You're allowed
Mr. Bean.
You're
It's
charged.
called surrender, silly.
You're
On their terms
charged,
means they surrender.
Buttercup, about total
It's not
victory.
gonna happen the first day. They want to fuck
So
around.
this is when you say total victory, it's so vague.
This is tequila.
No, it's not.
This is
It's not
tequila.
big. It's been not big.
They have offered to step down, and yet Bibi Netanyahu uses this total victory phrase as a foil so that he doesn't have to end the
No,
war.
he doesn't. He's referencing just say framework.
The hard objective is to destroy Hamas and free the hostages. He didn't either
Referencing the
because
same
of this total
framework.
victory
He's
slogan.
referencing the
He uses
same
it as a
framework.
foil. Anything they offer is not total victory in his book. He finds a new goalpost.
Unconditional surrender is total victory, and they
Yeah,
need to
just
offer
show
that.
up with all your weapons and say sorry.
Conditional surrender is a way to ensure the war continues forever. You sound just like
No,
that.
it is how the war is.
Most treated hostages on any condition.
Unconditional surrender means that Hamas has no conditions and surrenders.
It's a lawless. You're really out of touch. That's not the war goals. That's not what the.
End of Hamas, Hamas, and return of the hostages.
He's talking about total
Yeah,
victory.
Jason says that unconditional surrender is not what the Israeli government.
That's what total victory
That would be
is.
giving over your
Right,
weapons and
Jason,
dismantling
exactly. You're
Hamas.
asking for
Yes.
something unrealistic so that the war never ends. Exactly what I'm talking about.
Dismantling,
Buttercup,
removing Hamas.
guys, be quiet for a second. Buttercup, you keep calling it unrealistic, but it's not unrealistic. It is the realistic way to end conflicts of this nature.
Yeah.
And that's how they have ended. Stop for a second. That is how they have ended in the past. So why are you calling it unrealistic? It's how World War II ended. Both Germany and Japan unconditionally surrendered. So what is so unrealistic about this, Buttercup?
So I think I was pretty clear. The Israeli government has never said that unconditional surrender is one of their requirements to end the war into Hamas. This is something you made up, Jason. And when Netanyahu talks about total victory, that's not what total victory is.
Guys, you guys are falling apart here.
Total victory is
You're
not the
falling
total.
apart here.
Surrender is always an option in war. It's always, we don't need to say it. Of course it's an option. We don't need to like.
Jason says it's the only option.
If they
No, I did not say it's the only option.
today,
Okay, let's
to end it today, otherwise
back.
we continue to do it with
I did
force.
not
He
say
says that's what
it is-
total victory that
I did
Netanyahu
not
talks
say.
about means.
I did not say it is the only
That's how
option.
you define
You
total
said-
victory.
Please stop. You said total victory is vague. I said no, it's not. There is a clear story for that. Okay, unconditional surrender is total victory. Now the other way,
Netanyahu will tell you it's unrealistic. So if that's your goal, then you're
but
trying
that's
to
the thing I'm
accept
asking you about. That's the thing I'm asking about.
But every
What
top
makes you
Israeli
say-
official and resident disagrees with you and thinks it's
What makes
unrealistic.
you
So
think-
when Netanyahu says that, he wants to extend the war.
Well, but you're not really
It's a
answering my
handy
question.
foil for it.
You're not really answering my question. What makes you think it is unrealistic?
Ask Daniel. Daniel will explain to you why.
No, I'm asking
not a
you,
realistic,
Buttercup.
goal
I'm
of
asking
the
you,
war.
Buttercup. Why? What makes
I'm
you
not
think
Israeli.
it's
Daniel's Israeli. He'll explain to you why that's a dumb
Well,
fucking thing.
Buttercup, but you told it to me. You said
Because I'm representing what Daniel said to me, okay? He's Israeli and he knows what the discourse
so.
is. And you
So
clearly
someone
don't.
told you, someone you
It sounds like you don't follow
trust said,
discourse in Israel, honestly. So
someone
you
you
know how it's
trust. Yeah, someone you trust said that.
No, it's because I follow news in Israel in Hebrew, so I know what's happening. No one is demanding to
Well,
accept you, just Jason from
But, well,
Pennsylvania or wherever you're from.
You're saying it's
Jason from
unrealistic.
Pennsylvania is fucking irrelevant, okay?
I
Back
don't
up.
understand what is unrealistic about unconditional surrender.
That's never
total
been a
victory.
demand of the Israeli government, not once. And if you followed
What's unrealistic
discourse
about
in
total
Israel, you would
victory?
know that,
What's
Jason.
unreal? It has nothing to do with whether it's realistic or not.
No one's made that demand except for you.
You said it's unrealistic.
That's
What's
not how wars
unrealistic
end in
about
Israel. You haven't been following the conflict because that's
Wars
wars
don't end in Israel because the U.S. tells Israel to accept ceasefires. That's why they
Israel
don't
has
end.
put pressure on it, and that's how every war has ended, by the way.
Which the U.S. needs to stop doing. That's what we're disagreeing about.
Jason, you also completely misrepresented Netanyahu's position, so I don't think you can have an informed conversation anymore because you literally don't understand what's at
You
stake.
are just trying to shut me
Fundamentally
down
don't
because I
understand what's at
disagree
stake.
with you. Because I disagree with you, all right?
Because you're uninformed. You don't follow the discourse.
I don't
Well, no,
think you're
Buttercup,
following
like, my
the
bigger
discourse
question
about
is-
war, Buttercup.
Right,
It
I
seems
agree.
like
That's
you
not-
don't really
actually
follow
attending to how
the
war.
politics of Israel as it develops. But the question is, do you trust the Israeli democratic system to determine its own leaders and direction for its war from its civilian leaders?
Ask that again.
Do you trust Israel to follow through on their democratic constitutional plan?
Which one? Their goal is to.
The one that forms the Knesset.
Yeah, of course.
So, do you believe that they are having your thoughts expressed, to each other in the way that matters, and like their discourses covering that?
Yes.
So then you would say it is important to preserve their ability to safely and freely discuss their views openly and express their political
100%.
opinions.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why that's where it gets confusing, because you express their most hostile political views, the ones, and you express them in opposition to the state from outside of the state. When at the same time you're obviously grateful for the state they have, which allows them to have their heated political discourse. Do you see my confusion?
You're talking about why the U.S. shouldn't pressure Israel one way or the other?
No.
Okay. So how am I controlling the discourse? I was spaced out for a bit. What?
Yeah, space action.
You want to repeat your question in a short version?
Right, that's a fair point. Shorter version of the question. It seems like you trust the Israeli democratic process, but at the same time encourage those that would remove that process.
Oh, you mean my idea for the binational state sometime in the future?
Sure, change the current
Oh,
political
the current,
system
yeah,
and
the
the
regime
current
change.
rights
Yeah, I
that the
understand.
people have.
So I think a lot of Israelis, as you can see from the streets of Israel, don't think the current system is working for them, and they don't think it's sustainable.
Surely they can represent their own political views.
I know, and I allow them to, and I support them, and I think that's
What do you
wonderful.
mean you allow them to?
I think it's beautiful. I love to watch it. I love to see it.
There's something strangely patronizing about your approach to their
Well, we're all watching this show, this bad horror movie, and I like what's happening on the ground in Israel. It's
bad horror movie. Right?
It moves me as a Jewish American to see them advocating for their democracy and for the health of their democracy and their state. That is beautiful to me as someone who's covered politics for many years and has written about political corruption for many years. I think there's nothing more beautiful than someone puncturing political corruption in the way Haaretz does and the way the protesters do and the way human rights organizations do. I think that's moving. It moves me to tears. I think that's a beautiful thing. That's what I love about Israel, okay? That they have a democracy. There is a fragile, but democracy is still there, and the people there are speaking up. That's what's beautiful about Israel.
And you deem it as failing.
What? The state?
The democracy, yes.
The current structures in place are not serving the people well now. Because now we have extreme political corruption on top, and we have a prime minister running a war that's deeply, deeply compromised from the far-right extremist factions of his government, because they extort him every time there's a chance to rescue the hostages, which defeats the morale of the Israeli people, the safety of the Israeli people, the confidence in their government. This is not serving Israeli democracy, and if you understood how governments work, you would get that.
I absolutely understand how governments work, but that's why I keep questioning. Surely you concede all of the angles you've looked at the conflict, the Israelis are looking at as well, correct?
100%. I'm representing discourse in the Israeli public.
Right, but shouldn't they be having that
They are having
discourse
that
amongst
discourse.
each other?
They're literally having it.
Why is that discourse relevant outside of Israel?
Why is that? For Americans in particular, we supply bombs for this war, and so we are responsible for how they're used. And my tax dollars pay for those bombs, and I have a say. But number two, for me as a Jewish person, as a Jewish American, which you are too, our identities. To be Jewish in America, our identities, like it or not, whether it's positive or negative, have over the years become enmeshed with the Israeli state's well-being and what the Israeli state stands for. So it's hard not to have an emotional response to what we see happening there. When our people die en masse, it affects us, right? We feel it, even if we're not there. Well, I do. I don't know about you. And so if I think the state is causing the mass death of my people, yeah, that's really emotional for me. And I also have family there, by the way. So my family is personally affected.
So if I could
listen, my family lives in the South. If my sister's kids get kidnapped, now we have a government that will let them die. Okay, this is not a country that I want my sister to live in, and she's stuck there. She's married to an Israeli. Her kids speak Hebrew, and this is the predicament she finds herself in. For her loyalty to the country, this is how they repay her. That if her kids get kidnapped, they say, let the hostages drop dead, we'll just bomb the negotiators. That's the country she lives in at. What does that do for the Israeli morale? What kind of democracy, what kind of Jewish refuge treats its citizens that way?
Okay, so if I understand, you have two basic reasons. One, more emotional, that you have family there and you're concerned about the direction of the guidance of the state of Israel. And two, you're an American and your political power and voice is directed towards American action, which includes weapons which are utilized in Israel. So you're activating your political voice in parroting political discourse from the state of Israel, which is protected by its constitution and laws. Correct?
Sure.
Just seems like you should primarily protect the constitution, nation, and laws more than anything. I would think.
Israel, it's not my job to protect it. I just have strong opinions about the way Israel's handling this war, given that its leadership is deeply compromised. Part of its leadership is compromised.
As an American citizen who has concerns about the actions of Israel abroad, and as a Jew that lives in America, would you want to encourage, let's say you were in the CIA, right? Would you want a regime shift in Israel under your managing?
It's calling for an immediate. Listen, the Israeli people are fighting for new leadership. They're fighting for natural war.
Yes or no?
It's not my job to overthrow the government. My opinion.
I gave you the job. I said you're CIA director.
I don't have the power to
ties to Syria.
I'm not part of overthrowing any governments.
I know, listen, you just said you have an opinion. You're voicing your political power right now as an American to prevent the sale of weapons to be used in an illegal genocide.
And prevent my nephews and nieces from being kidnapped and left in captivity.
What?
And I also believe in general in the idea of a Jewish refuge, a state that's sustainable that doesn't result in bloodbath every couple of years. That's what I believe. That's my deeply held belief.
Because it's wonderful. The CIA says that stuff all the time before they kill somebody.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
CIA. That's what I gave you. I gave the CIA powers.
I said we need a new model that's sustainable.
Remember, like Iraq and Saddam Hussein?
I'm advocating for a model that is more sustainable, and I think if you love Israel and you love its people, you should also advocate for that.
Just to be clear, the model you're advocating, which is more sustainable, involves the dismantling of the current functional model.
I don't think it's functional. October 7th is not functional. It's not okay.
Okay, October 7th was not functional, sure, but like you're saying, the management of the war.
No, it's been escalatory violence for 70 years. It's not working, dude. It's not working.
The entire state has failed.
We need a new state which doesn't have to be completely
new state. What guarantees your new state won't also fall into 70 years of war? How will your state solve it?
Just one question. What is the metric for you saying that they failed or success? What is the metric that you're using?
Whether she's happy or not.
No,
look at that.
My family lives in the South, okay? My family experiences tyrants. That's not sustainable.
Doesn't feel comfortable.
It's not sustainable for my sister and her kids and their bunny rabbit to constantly be underthrown of violence.
Buttercup. So the United States is also not sustainable, right? People are under threat of gun violence.
Yeah, that's not sustainable either. We need to redo our laws, 100%.
Which country is sustainable in your eyes? And then the ones that you just don't know anything about?
Well, I think both of Israel and America had democracies that turned out to be way more fragile than we thought.
Which are sustainable?
I'm talking about democracy.
Democracy.
Okay, so in Scandinavia we have some good models, but I'm not going to list all the good countries versus the bad countries. Unfortunately, in today's era, a lot of democracies have been hijacked.
I understand. So Scandinavia is the model, right?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to dissect different government forms. There's pros and cons to each
I
one.
understand. So, I want to understand what forces are working on Scandinavia. So,
Let's actually talk about America versus Israel. America has a constitution.
One second. Scandinavia, for example, you were talking about the government of Scandinavia. Okay. There's the government. What other forces impact
That's not one country, though. There's different countries within it.
Yeah, but the government, okay, so
You want to pick a
whatever country you want.
democracy to dissect Buttercup?
Yeah. Choose a democracy that you want to compare us to.
Very well.
Actually, I want to. I'm sorry. I want to walk that back. I want to compare it to America because America's a little bit more robust as a democracy than Israel is. So
No,
we're not going to direction to go this
you also said, but you also said America is not sustainable. So
It is sliding into an unsustainable thing because we have someone who's
It's sustainable.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the U.S. so far is holding up the democracy because there are certain protections.
But we want
Our
to say
courts shut down undemocratic things.
I would say it's not
Your
sustainable.
courts are being lenient. Our courts still are standing up.
But I want to go and learn from those who did it. Okay? I want to learn what they
We
did.
did do it. I take that back. America has courts are strong enough to resist
You are very intimidating.
People are dying there on the streets. People are being shot just for speaking. I would be afraid to just walk in some areas in the United States. I can see the videos of people are driving the streets. I see the crimes, the gangs, the things. You know how many
Okay, so exactly like America without the gun
You
protection.
gotta rewrite the Constitution.
So compared to Israel,
You can't just erase the conflict. It's foundational to its
something powerful about you. Okay. So Second Amendment, it has its rights, and you have things that doesn't happen nowhere in the world, and it's not sustainable. You send your kid, you go to fucking a rally and you speak in front of thousands in a university, and you get shot. It's insane. People are getting just shot in the when they
All because of a stupid constitution we won't get rid of.
Yes, exactly. And it's your government, the corrupt governments that are just benefiting off this.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And military and army and guns and manufacturing and a lot of money. And so let's stop talk shit about America.
Heal,
Yes, yeah, you're right. You're right, Ashley. I want to concede a point. Let me concede a point.
Amazing. So where are we comparing us to?
So I think you're right.
Hello?
This era has taught us a lot about how fragile democracy and how it doesn't really hold. It can't stand up to fascists and dictators. But you know what? We're learning from it, and that doesn't mean we shouldn't be in the streets demanding that the people's interests are represented above these selfish, fascistic.
The system is not the democracy.
It's not holding up, but we need to still fight. We need to use whatever things we have, which is
Yes, but
voting
no,
today.
You have a functional system we can compare it to.
Yeah, it's like crying, wah. It's not really halfway. It's actually making things
That's what
worse.
democracy is.
Listen, in her opinion,
No,
America is
free speech is key to that, Danielle. It's all we have. It's New York Times, Wall Street Journal, protesting is all we have. It's all we have.
Yes, it's bitching. Do you have a solution? Do you have a better proposal like something that I asked you for a country, but you see, the model, give me a model, like an example model that we will see that, okay, it works there. You say that this is fair, this is not sustainable. I want to see according to your, because if you're saying that Israel is not sustainable, but also everybody else, okay, that is like, it's like, this is what we told you about, like showing like half the truth. It's like showing something about Israel and painting something that's not.
Let me respond. So Daniel, to me, Israeli, I think democracy is precious and it's something that we need to cherish and try to fight for. And in Israel and in the US, which I know most about, I'm not claiming to be a geopolitical world expert. I've written extensively about US policy, so I know about our system. I know about Israel's system because I was born into a Jewish family that's obsessed with Israel, so I know a little bit about there, but not as much as you, Daniel. And I feel it's a real tragedy that these systems that have been built to protect everyone, to be democratic, to preserve human rights have been completely eroded in the last couple of years. And I'm sad that these strong men have taken over and are thwarting the will of the public and the people. I think we need to use whatever institutions we have that are designed to hold power accountable and represent the people. And so that's why I see actually a parallel in the struggles in the US and Israel, because my two countries that I identify with most and I know most about are falling apart. Where for years and years and years they protected minorities, they tried to at least aspire towards equal rights and certain values, and to see that eroding is just really heartbreaking.
So you're basically, your problem with those democracies is that you didn't win the elections. Your side didn't win the elections.
No, these are corrupted. That's not true. I criticize Democrats all the time. I criticize Democrats too.
Everybody's corrupt. Okay.
No. I know in Israel you don't have the corruption laws, but in America we do have very strict.
What do we not have corruption?
I think this is normal for politicians to be corrupt.
What is Israel? What is Bibi now accused of?
Corruption, but you guys think it's a joke.
Hold on. You said like 5 seconds ago you guys don't have corruption laws.
You're claiming everyone's corrupt. Not in America. We don't believe in corrupt politicians. We prosecute them. We try to hold them to account. We don't get conflict of interest laws.
You are very intense and really hard to conversation. No, words matter, and I keep pointing it out to you. You
no, I'm sorry. I'm reflecting what you said, which is who gives a shit.
No, you said in Israel
you said who gives a shit. Listen, I understand you have laws, but you guys think it's a joke. But you think it's a joke, Daniel, right? You don't hear about it.
I will not let it go because I understand that you
yes, I know you have trials. I know there's anti-corruption laws, but you're undermining your own checks and balances.
I will put the mirror in your face. You said in Israel you don't have corruption laws, but in the United States we do.
No, I know you have laws. You're right. You're right. You do have corruption laws, but you, Daniel, don't give a shit about them.
The corruption laws and their persecution is not.
And your government is fighting to dismantle them.
Hold on, you might be surprised, okay? But it doesn't really work whether Daniel agrees or not, and you actually don't know what I agree with or not. Okay? I actually do think that corruption laws are very important, and I think that it's all about the law, it's about the investigation, first of all, okay? And what they're trying or not, the fact is that he is now on trial for corruption. That is the reality on the ground. While you say, and you come on stage here and say, Daniel, which never said it, doesn't think is laughing about it, whatever that means, that overrules the fact that there's actually proceedings.
You're right, you're correct.
The Prime Minister will go 4 times a week to trial on corruption. Boo-hoo what? I'm talking about you, Baraka. The discussion that I'm having is about you. It's about the way that you present facts. I'm not sure if it's
I agree with you. There are laws, but you dismiss that. You say every politician is corrupt, and I disagree with that. I think that's not the thing.
No, I did say every politician and they're all corrupt, okay? Meaning like both Republicans and Democrats. I didn't say that everybody's corrupt. And power does corrupt, okay? Politics is a lot about.
Which is why you need free press, free speech.
Yes, and we do have free press and free speech.
Right? So why are you all I'm doing is protesting it, and you're calling me a capo?
I tell you what, first of all, I take it back to the couple.
Thank you. You all heard it.
Less about you, more about I think that the word is, as I tell you, words have meaning, and and this is like 80% of why, but also I know that offended you, maybe, so I take it back.
Thank you.
But I also
We were talking about corruption and whether it's a problem in Israel and whether you're concerned about it.
No, I'm saying it's a problem in general, and sometimes like it's also about how much you fund like those units in the
Look at Qatargate. You think that kind of person should be running a war involves Qatar as one of the negotiating parties that we just bombed? Like, how does it serve Israeli people to have like this massive bribery scandal in the prime minister's office while you're prosecuting a war against Hamas that involves negotiators from Qatar? How does it benefit Israel?
I think it actually shows the democracy in Israel, how this is something that is exposed by the media, is constantly on these calls, is constantly addressed. Those people were arrested.
Did you like the media now? Now the media is good.
There's a lot of pressure on, like, or not really pressure, like a lot of criticism about Netanyahu regarding this. Even if he didn't have time, like his reaction should have been this or that. So this is, I think, a healthy democracy. Not saying like hire the commander or we don't investigate. This is actually one of the many talking points that people have against us is because we are transparent, because we investigate, because we are like prosecuting, because we talk about it, because we expose things. You know, from B'Tselem to the Shorin Shtika to you know, you even came here and was using there was a Supreme Court decision to give the Nukhba terrorists in jails more food, trying to present this as bad instead of like, wow, like even if like Ben-Gvir is trying to do something, there is law, and at the end, not going to do, even the Nukhba terrorists, those people, I don't know if you know what Nukhba terrorists is, look it up. It's not
I do, I understand, but a lot of them are innocent. You know, at least 30% of them, they're innocent.
Hold on. Innocent.
And a lot of them are kids. Their kids are serving death in the jail.
If they were arrested in Israel, innocent they are not. Okay? And I'm talking about the Nukhba terrorists. Now,
almost 3,000 meters cutting through rocks to find black diamond. It's one of the toughest jobs in the world. These workers do it for their children's future. Respect their hard work, but for them, do some survival. Look at this coal mine. Working deep underground, almost 3,000 meters under, cutting through rocks to find black
not the Nazi, really worse than Nazi because they were like so barbaric, okay? So inhumane. Those Nukhba terrorists still had someone, I can look it up who was, that filed a lawsuit, or like I don't know if it's called a lawsuit, whatever, to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court decided that those people will get, I don't know, whatever the decision was, that they need to get a bit more food. Okay, this is the system. The one that you're trying to present as corrupt system.
Is everyone at State Taman, are they all Nukhba? Do you think they're all Nukhba?
The what?
Everyone who was at State Taman before was dismantled by your government, by your courts. Do you think they were all Nukhba?
I'm talking about, this is specifically about the Nukhba terrorists. Okay?
Is there a special unit for the Nukhba that are confirmed?
The people that were arrested, you know,
I understand. I'm saying is there a special section for them because everyone's treated the same in the State Taman. They are all
The
starved.
people that from Stetelman are people that, as far as I remember, came from Gaza. That were arrested in Gaza.
Right.
And they were brought into this makeshift whatever jail.
Right. Were they treated well there?
And I don't think so.
There was like a 98-year-old woman. There was disabled people. Kids with Down syndrome in there.
I understand. Listen, you need to understand also the harsh reality that you are. First of all, that it's a war, okay? No, it's not a hotel. Those people were taken not just randomly.
Disabled single mom for 2 months.
Can I please speak? Okay? They were taken in a war zone. Usually after evacuation in places that they shouldn't have been. We don't know the circumstances. Again, war. They are taken because this is, the Hamas is also like using disabled children, they're using like women, they're using
These are
old people.
convenient
Yes,
exceptions. Yeah.
so they are taking them, it is war, and then they're interrogated or they're checked, released. We apologize for the inconvenience, but again, you're just trying to really, you're trying, the IDF will fight the war while being able to absolutely do nothing. We cannot go into houses because, you don't want to evacuate the population. We cannot basically do anything because as long as if Hamas will not wear his full uniform and will present his gun, what? Can you tell us how are we supposed to conduct the war? Which it will be like pleasant and nice, because unfortunately wars are not pleasant or nice, especially when they are like in a urban city. They're not nice. And as much as if you need to understand that in wars there's like usually like bad option and worse option. And when you present what was chosen and show it was a bad choice, maybe. But the other option was worse. And there is no good choice.
100%. Actually, Daniel, this is why I always tell my friends my family who are Zionists, why we shouldn't describe an army as moral, because armies and governments are inherently not moral, they're pragmatic. They always have to choose between an immoral option or a less moral option, right? So why even frame it in terms of morality? And that brings us back to the first point, which is the most moral army in the world, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So maybe stop saying that.
No, I don't. Why would I stop saying it? You can prove me wrong, and then we can have a discussion about it.
You should never be operating on moral standards. You should never
Morality.
utilitarian standards. That's not moral.
No. I disagree with you. Maybe for you. For us, it is about moral. In the IDF, there is a lot to do with morality, especially in basic training. It's about also learning from history and about different battles also, like historical battles, but definitely about morals and about law and what about legal. So there are few levels of protection. It's not just what the government decides. There's morality, how we are taught to treat the weapon, how we are taught to treat people, how to see them, to understand what is a threat, an active threat. You remember the story about what's his face, Lois Ayat, remember? Lois Ayat, there was a terrorist in Jerusalem, and I think he tried to stab a soldier, and he was shot, but he wasn't killed. He was laying on the floor, and then they kind of surrounded the area, many soldiers. He was still laying on the floor, calling all the people to see if he has bomb on him, but it was under control, as we say, he was just like on the floor. And then, 11 minutes later, this soldier shot him. And he said, he moved. I thought he would operate whatever. And he was basically taken to trial because at that point he was not, yes, he was a terrorist. Yes, he tried to kill someone, but he was not posing a threat anymore at that point. And this is why the boy went to trial, and then he went went to jail. Yes, there were people that were crying about why prosecute gays, which there were voices saying that it's a good thing. There were
should have signed
I remember that incident. I've seen that
signed the name in the Geneva Convention.
and I've seen this trial also.
So let me just land, okay? I understand that I spoke too much. I will let them guys speak. So yes, I didn't notice that you came. I thought I was talking on to Baraka. So morality has a lot to do with it, and then there's law. Like the army has a legal system, and also the country has a legal system. And then they go to the government. It's not just like one player. Now shut up.
Let's check. Step by day. Daniel.
Mr. Mayfield.
Okay, let's keep it simple. So I want to point to the chat where I posted a link.
They're just getting acquainted.
I posted a link for, Danny, you were talking about morality. I want to talk to the council for the IDF. The goal is to keep their own soldiers out of prison and out of the international courts for doing war crimes, right? And so the council says the Stop the City operation is not feasible, and there's serious questions of humanitarian. And this is like the first time, perhaps ever, that the army has gone against the advice of their own council, which is designed to protect them from war crime charges, right? So we're talking about the most moral in the world. How does that get? Where does that get? Okay, you don't even follow the advice for what's ethical and moral of your own IDF doesn't follow the advice of its own council, ethical council, and legal council. Anyway, Wednesday, do you want to say something about the community convention?
Falling stock price.
Okay, so I haven't got the full
16, is that what it is?
Okay.
We've also lost approximately.
Kyle, your thoughts on the fact that Israel is defying the advice of its own legal counsel?
Let's just call it out. Press release.
I say stop with the
Today, when I say this,
So
there
I
was
stop
nothing
I think
by
I think in general, okay? But some people are like, so
quantum, nothing by
we're talking about, Judaism,
you're just a browser.
who signs this, because
Me,
you see, I really just
join my friends. While I soar out from second wings.
let's present like this, I don't know this case, let's investigate together.
Surely I'm dropping another couple of bucks next month and the acquisition attempt.
Basically, the idea is it's a business
Goes well, 15 years ago.
your price is too high, the excess.
Art and expose where she and the council spoke directly to them, and other people confirmed the meeting and the discussions, and this was excluded from the final decision making, which never happened before. And when it comes to art article, you're going to think that they have a bias, because that's the report that cited it here, okay? That was like an exclusive that included quotes from this woman who is the official counsel for the IDF, that they decided to go ignore her meeting. She confirms that. She expressed her opinion multiple times, and the IDF excluded her from the final decision-making meeting, which is unprecedented, and decided to go ahead with this operation that she said is not possible because there's no hospital beds left in southern in where they're being transferred to, and it's going to create a humanitarian catastrophe. She can't shield soldiers from charges of war crimes. And so she gave them advice, and they went ahead and excluded her from it. And she, even after they did that, she wrote them another letter saying, "This is my professional opinion, and it's not changed." And they did it anyway. And so now they're pretty much intentionally defying their own legal counsel, which is designed to protect them and your nephews that are in the army right now. Not take it personal.
You all right? Before I leave, what would you have paid?
I know, it's hard.
600. Will you have paid?
Don't get personally.
75. So you got a good deal. Actually, I lied. I was taking 4. A palace cat. Solitary and secretive, but he's actually one of the world's smallest wildcats and a formidable hunter. He's got the longest and densest fur of any cat on Earth. It insulates him against the freezing temperatures and makes him look bigger than he is. For now, keeping warm is not his priority. He's on the hunt. The targets are these guys. Hikers. His expertise is the stock. Twitching with excitement. He inches closer. The palace cat is right on top of his prey. The timing of the pounce is all that now separates him from the next meal. Food at last. A palace cat, solitary and secretive, but he's actually one of
Jew from India. She was a lady from India. It was about 15 to 20 years ago. asked by her parents to go to Israel. She said, no. Israel is doing bad things and things like that. So she wanted to get into one of the premier institutions in India.
But he's actually.
So the condition was if she couldn't get into that premier institution, she would
This
go
is
to
the cheapest gold in the world. This is how they make Chinese gold. Workers take stainless steel and shape it into bracelets or earrings, then coat it with this thick yellow stuff that looks just like real gold and acts the same way. They pile it on so heavy that it covers the whole thing, making sure it won't stick to a magnet. After that, they buff it down till it's smooth and give it a good wash with soap and water. Boom, ready to sell and wear. If someone wants to cash in, they just melt it down, dunk it in water, and it hardens into one solid chunk, ready to be reworked. It's seriously cheap, but looks just like the real deal.
Palestinians can work there. She saw things with her own eyes. Then her perspective changed. Then she performed earlier. She went back to Israel and I think she's staying there right now. So these people who are, living in different countries have got a different perspective. It is shaped by their societies. Like Buttercup here thinks that, I think she's from America. She thinks in an American way. Freedom and all things. But she doesn't apply that to the other side. And I have not seen a Muslim group that condemns Hamas or like they do Israel. There's no narration or whether they condemn Qatar or like other Middle Eastern countries where they repress people or the freedoms are restricted or they support terrorists. No condemnation at all. Despite Qatar hosting so much of terrorist organizations, the Hamas and this the Taliban. Did anyone condemn Qatar? So this is a double standard.
No, they're playing, and also Israel played like Qatar is like a legitimate country, and Qatar also wants to be seen as like a legitimate country. They try to, which is a bit weird. On the one hand, they try to distance themselves from all the terrorists.
Puppet masters.
But they are funding terrorists. They are like with Qatar and Al Jazeera, sorry. And they are hosting Hamas leaders on their soil. And they because the money talks,
Exactly.
I don't get, by the way, this playing thing. Like,
Yes, they are a small country. They have got enough resources. They have got enough money. They are trying to play both sides. Actually, they are trying to export the Wahhabism which Saudi Arabia they want to do.
Giving the plane is not like just a gift between like I don't know friends or even countries. It's something very public, very visible. Now everybody seeing that Qatar is gifting to the United States. I'm trying to kind of make sense of it. What is the message?
Message is even if they do small things, which is insignificant for us, like what we do in private or what we do very discreetly, they're trying to show that they are doing something so that the world will take notice. Oh, Qatar is so kind.